Okay, everybody. I know I don't like doing this while I'm driving, but at least I can have you down on my dash so I don't have to look anywhere else. It's no different to me than either being on the phone talking to my sister or having somebody in the car with me that I'm chatting with, so just bear with me and save the comments. I really don't care right now. But, I don't know, I just haven't updated since summertime. I kind of feel like I need to give you at least a short update or maybe just a rant to make myself feel better. But I just want to kind of explain like one of my typical days and why I feel so terribly exhausted, and I'm having such a hard time sticking to any kind of a routine because I literally feel like I'm constantly doing everything else and I don't hardly have time to do anything for myself, let alone have the time to put any effort into anything major, because I literally, okay, let me just back it up. Let's just go through a scenario of my basic day like today. Okay, so last night I worked a 12-hour shift at the hospital. By the time I get home, it's about 8 o'clock. I was actually a little late this morning because I was behind at work, so I got home a little bit after 8, but I have to get my oldest kid to school by 8:45. So luckily Dad was home this morning. I was able to pick him up, take him to school, no problem. Didn't have to drag the other two kids out in the cold, which was really nice. Then I came home. Dad had some errands to do, so it's just my middle kid and my youngest kid with me, who is 2.5, and the other one just turned 5 months today. And I got the baby fed and changed, like he's happy as crap, and then I had to get the toddler fed breakfast. I got him some juice, made sure he was changed, or made sure he went to the bathroom. Sorry, we're like in the throes of potty training. He just had a second night without bedtime diapers. He does really good during the day. He had one accident yesterday, but he was perfectly fine overnight tonight. So hopefully we are doing a-okay with that. But anyways, I finally got to lay down maybe around 10 o'clock after all that. And I woke up about an hour later, which to me is not even a full hour of sleep, because most of the time I'm still laying there for quite a while trying to drift off to sleep while listening to the other kids playing and doing whatever they do. So I woke up at 11 by Dad because he finally got home, and he said the teacher called and said that my oldest is having a meltdown. He's crying and nobody can get him to stop, and they don't know why he's upset, and they want me to come pick him up. So normally he wouldn't be home until 2:30, but here I am at 11 o'clock driving him to the school to go get him. So I get there, pick him up. I don't understand what the issue was, because I got there like within 10 minutes of her calling my house, and he was perfectly fine. He was calm. He was playing, looked like dressed up. He was dressed up like a policeman. So he took his costume off, and I got his backpack and everything, got him in the car. He kept saying happy, happy, so he must be happy. I don't know. He's smiling. He don't look bad to me. She said he's had a lot of drainage, but that's nothing new. He's been sick almost since the second week of school, and he hasn't kicked, like, it's just constant snot. I don't know if that's normal for kids his age, but it's irritating to me because he's just constant. But other than that, he seemed fine. So I let him stay home for a while. I tried to lay down again for a little while, but I could hear the kids getting into stuff. They were, I had to keep getting up and basically breaking up fights and taking things away from them that they weren't supposed to have, and la-da-da-da-da, because you kind of can't go into a deep sleep when you've got children running loose in the house, because, yeah, it's not good. Dad, he wasn't home at that point. He left around noon, so just me and the dudes. So then I had to get up again after I finally got to pass out for a minute. I had to feed the baby again at some point during that, change him again, fix whatever. The children actually got into cereal, so I had cereal all over my house. I was stepping on like Cheerios, like it was a hot mess. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll deal with it later. I'm too tired to even care right now. As long as it's nothing like gonna destroy my house completely, I don't care right now. I'm that exhausted, I just don't care. And I have OCD, so it was like, for me to not care about Cheerios all over my floor is a big deal. So, anywho, let's see, what time would that make it then? About 2-ish, maybe a little bit before then. I had to get all 3 kids back in the car and take my oldest one to therapy at the autism center. So I get all the kids there, drop him off. He started getting emotional as we were walking in the building. I don't really know why all of a sudden he was getting upset, but I tried to perk him up a little bit, wiped his nose. He seemed to be like he was trying to buck up a little bit, so I'm on my way now to come pick him up. But I tried to lay back down then for an hour, because by the time I get back home from dropping him off, it's around 3 o'clock, so I have an hour or so before I have to come pick him up again. And it didn't go very well, because the baby wouldn't let me sleep. He basically, the middle one was passed out on the way home, so I picked him up, put him on the couch, he took a nap. So that hour that I would have slept, I had to deal with the baby, because he's just fussy. I think he's just overly tired now. He was hungry, he was wet, so I changed him. Like, after all that crap, it's another hour went by, and it's time to pick him up again. So I scooped up my sleeping toddler, popped him in the car, so he's back to sleep actually right now, and the baby's finally calmed down because we're in the car. He loves being in the car, he usually falls asleep. And then here I am. So I don't know how many consecutive hours of non-sleep that makes it, but it's like I have an hour window here, there, and it just keeps getting broken. Every time I think, oh, I can finally get some sleep, it gets interrupted somehow. So it's just super duper frustrating and exhausting, because I can't do anything. I can't even sleep. You know, like, I try to equate it, because people don't think about third shifter sleep is the equivalent of you sleeping all night but being woke up like every hour or less. And you don't just get woke up, you have to get up and do things. You have to drive places, you have to be responsible for 3 other people's lives. Like, it's a freaking stressful predicament. Like, I know it's, my choice to have kids, it's my choice to work third shift, so I can be there for them during the day, and I can, be able to attend things and get them to therapy when he needs to be. I can go to parent-teacher conferences, etc., etc. But it doesn't make it any easier. And a lot of times Dad's not home because he has to work during the day. So it's just me and the 3 dudes, and I'm exhausted. Like, it's a whole different level of exhaustion. Like, people don't they like to, sorry, we're here now, but they like to equate it to like having a newborn. But I actually got better sleep being off of work and not doing the third shift thing while having my youngest one, because he was perfect. Like, I literally just had to wake up, I would change his diaper, pop a boob out, he'd eat, burp, go back to sleep, and then I'd go back to sleep. I didn't have to get out of bed, I didn't have to do anything. So I actually got better, more solid, consistent sleep with the newborn than I do right now working third shift with all 3 kids sleeping through the night. Like, it is exhausting as hell. And then I feel like after I work like I do, like last night, and then being up all day basically today with my cat naps here and there, which you don't ever get to be in like a deep sleep, because you always have to be ready to jump up and do something if something's needed. But I literally feel like it takes me at least a day or 2 to fully catch up on sleep and feel like a normal person again, where I feel like I can really get a handle on things. Like, I feel motivated to clean things and get my house back in order and do anything extra. Like, even just going out to like a function for the family. Like, I gotta do a birthday party for my oldest one like on Saturday, so tomorrow's my only actual day off where I might be somewhat caught up on sleep, and I need to steam clean carpets and clean the house and decorate everything, and I still gotta go to the store, and like, it's just I gotta do all that shit in one day, and I'm so exhausted just thinking about it. I haven't hardly slept today, so I'm like hoping and praying these kids go to bed easy. And he still has therapy tomorrow, even though he doesn't have school on Fridays. I still have to take him to therapy, and it's 1 to 4:30 on Friday, so at least it's like a 3-hour stretch-ish, but it's still a lot of work, and I still have to drag all the kids out, and it's just, like, I don't like complaining about it, because I know, like, they're my kids, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Obviously, I'm doing it, but it doesn't make it any easier, it doesn't make it more enjoyable. It's not like, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I kind of equate it to like Chinese torture. It's like, oh, you're falling asleep, let me ping you in the forehead and wake you up. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, you want nothing more than the simple act of sleeping, like your normal biological need to sleep, and you just can't because you have other responsibilities. And it's so, like, I know it's so unhealthy for myself, but at this phase of my life, I don't have a choice. I have to take care of the kids. I have to make sure, they're taken care of before I can take care of myself, because they're too young to take care of themselves. So I know it's just the season I'm in. It'll get easier once they're older and they can do more for themselves, and once they understand that mom's been up all night, so maybe we should let her sleep so she's not so crazy. It's just really hard. It's hard physically, it's hard emotionally, it's hard mentally. Like, after I've done about 3 or 4 days in a row of this, I'm like ready to cry at every little thing, and I get super frustrated easy. My patience is super low, and I feel bad because I know it's not their fault, and I try not to take it out on the kids or anyone else in my house for that instance. Like, for the most part, Handsome tries to help me out. He does do what he can when he is there with the kids to try to like give me some time alone. Like I feel like when I know he's there, I sleep so much deeper because I know he's there to take care of things. So I don't have to stress out as much. I don't have to keep that one ear open. I can actually like relax. My brain can relax enough to actually sleep. But then I feel like it goes by so fast. Like I feel like I just shut my eyes and it's time to wake up again and do things. And you know, he buys me caffeine, but I'm like, I can only go so far. Like after so many days of being sleep deprived, and you know, when I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating very well, I'm not drinking very well, because sleep is always my major priority on top of being responsible for the children. But for as far as self-care goes, sleep is my top priority. And then it comes food and water and all the other stuff, because when I'm tired like I am right now, like my appetite is tanked. I am so exhausted and I don't care. I would sleep standing up if that meant I could sleep for any solid amount of time right now. Like that's how tired I am. And you know, just because I can handle it well and I carry it well and people don't realize it, that I might have been up all night, just like, you know, I look like a homeless hot mess. You know, they don't realize that, oh, maybe she's been up all night and all day and taking care of 3 kids and driving all over the city trying to take them to school and back and to therapy and back and dealing with all the, you know, toddler things and the baby things. But that's what I'm doing. That's my life right now. So it's like really, really hard to do anything. I'm trying so hard to get back on track with my working out and eating right and all that crap. Like we're also still trying to recover from financial crap from having the baby, because it always takes a big gouge in our finances basically, and our funds. So I feel like in a few months we'll be able to bounce back after tax season's over with, because we usually get a good amount back so I can pay off the little tiny bit of debt that I've acquired from having a baby and get a little cushion, and you know, maybe put part of it towards something for the family, which I try to do every year. I try not to use it all for myself. I try to do something for the family, since, you know, that's basically what it's for. And it's just stressful. Everything's stressful. Plus you got the holidays coming up. So after Parker's birthday, I just have to worry about Thanksgiving and Christmas. You know, it's like, I know they're at least still small enough where they're not like super materialistic and they really don't care about gifts and all that stuff, but I still try to make it good for them, because, you know, I would try to think that I only have so many Christmases with them before, you know, they're off on their own. So that's my crazy update, I guess. It's kind of all over the place, but I got to get in here now and get him out of this autism center and get him back home, and then maybe Dad will be home too, so maybe we can tag team these kids for the next few hours and get them in bed so I can go to bed finally. At least I'm not working tomorrow, so yay. Hope you guys are all doing good. I'm sorry I look like crap and this is kind of like a rambling chaos, but this is my life.